If you've missed Dwight, Jim, Pam, and Michael, you may be in luck. The makers of The Office sitcom are planning a reboot of the hit show. It's not clear which characters will be back, but it begs the question, can it be good as the last version? For 9 mostly hilarious seasons, The Office had audiences laughing and cringing every week.
I declare bankruptcy!
The series hasn't been on TV in a decade, but streaming services have kept its popularity going. And now, we could be getting a reboot.
Oh my God! Okay, it's happening! Everybody stay calm!
Yes, the news is exciting, but it's unlikely Steve Carell and John Krasinski will return. Jenna Fisher and Angela Kinsey do host an Office-themed podcast, so they could be part of the new cast. Last year, the man who adapted the UK version for American audiences said a newer version could be an extension of the universe featuring a mix of old and new characters.
No, God! No, God, please, no!
Other shows are taking a second swing at sitcom success. Remember this hit from the 90s?
Don't sit there! Those are Christian Lacroix pillows.
So we can't sit on the couch?
Not in jeans.
Kelsey Grammer is making another go of it as the stuck-up psychiatrist, but instead of living with his dad, it seems that Frasier will be moving in with his son. It's just the latest trying to capitalize on that nostalgic feeling. Will and Grace made a comeback, while 3 of the 4 gals from Sex and the City are back on And Just Like That. But with all of the options on streaming services right now, are watch lists already too full? Or will fans make room for more reboots? All right, here's the question we've been putting to you all day. Do you think that older shows should be rebooted? The vast majority of you, 73.5%, overwhelming majority, say no, they shouldn't. 26.5% of you say yes, they should. Let's bring back Sabrina and Matt. Matt, what do you think? Are you okay with A, the Office reboot, or reboots in general?
No, I hate it. It's horrible. This is stupid. The Sex and the City show, it's unwatchable. And the problem is we fell in love with those shows, with those characters. Now when you bring in new characters, it's not going to translate. Frasier, the great thing about Frasier was the relationship with his father, Martin, and with his brother. And now you're going to make it something different. It's not going to work. And The Office, the fact that they were able to take the British version, make an American version, and it worked on both cases, they should have quit while they're ahead. This is going to be like what Jar Jar Binks did to Star Wars, what the last couple Indiana Jones movies did with the Kingdom of the Skull Crystal, or whatever that was. No, this is lazy. Didn't the writer's strike just end? Can't they write new things? What's going on here? This is lazy.
Sabrina, you think it's just as lazy, or do you think that there's value in maybe trying to mine some of those old laughs?
I mean, I'm with Matt and what sounds like most of our audience. Like, I'm so over reboots. Be original. I know the Hollywood writer's strike has ended, but now I'm thinking, let's give AI and ChatGPT a chance to come up with some fresh ideas. Maybe they would do a better job. And, like, don't get me wrong, I loved The Office. I dressed up as 3-hole punch Sabrina for Halloween one year, but this has got to stay in the past. I mean, except for Terminator, The Dark Knight, you know, if we're talking the original Star Wars series, maybe those are the exceptions, but the sequel is never better than the original. I don't have high hopes for this, and nothing compares to the original Office. The American version,
Yeah, Matt, what? Yeah, and that's the funny thing. It's the American, the original, which is the British version. You know, it depends on which one you're hanging your hat on. But, Matt, is it the type of thing where we are out of ideas? Because, you know, you could come up with new ones. And I know, as you said, you know, the writer's strike is over. They must have ideas, you would think.
There's always going to eventually be new ideas. You know, we say there's no great movies, that it's all superheroes, but then everything all at once. And I know I got that title mixed up, or Parasite before that. Like, there's always going to be the next great movie. There's always going to be the next great TV show. It's just, it's so hard to duplicate the success. I look at something like Better Call Saul, and that only took a tiny part of Breaking Bad, and then they went into a completely different direction. That you can't can do. But in this one, you feel like you're doing a reboot. It just feels like, all right, let's take the old thing and just change it, add a couple little bells and whistles. I don't think it's going to work. Not for something that was as beloved as that. No one even liked when Friends. Remember when they just had everyone hang out together and get paid like $10 million to sit on the old couch, and we wondered, wow, Joey, he's changed since we saw him last time on Friends. Like, even that wasn't really well received. So this feels DOA to me.
And Sabrina, it's interesting because I think over the pandemic or even over the writer's strike, when everybody started binging these shows, or even this new generation, I mean, my son has binged, and he's just about to turn 14. He's binged The Office all 9 seasons, maybe 6 times. And then you look at this board that we have for you. I mean, a number of these shows that have been rebooted. Dexter, I didn't realize they did one. Dynasty, Goosebumps, Full House, Frasier, Mad About You, Magnum P.I. Fraggle Rock, I didn't realize they actually rebooted as well. But anyways, I guess my question here is, are studios looking at this and saying, well, it's doing so well with streaming, should we just try and take another crack at it to maybe get this new audience?
Yeah, I think first off, you must be a very proud dad. But also to Matt's point, it totally feels lazy and like a cash grab in a sense. I mean, I also think a lot of these shows are just not going to land the same. I mean, we're living in very woke times, and I'm not saying that things are too politically correct by any means, but when I watch reruns of The Office, which I totally did over the pandemic, I think a lot of us wanted to feel that nostalgia of better times. But when I was watching those reruns from back in the day, it's kind of like, ooh, that joke would not land the same way it did. And, you know, being inappropriate and awkward is something Michael Scott was known for. So I just don't think, especially for The Office, that it's going to hit the same this time around.
Yeah, and you know what's going to happen is if they try to recreate The Office with some of the same jokes from the past, you know the headline, Twitter was up in arms in a new episode of The Office, because Twitter or X is always up in arms. And by the way, I forgot they did Magnum P.I. You can't do Magnum P.I. without Higgins and without the dogs, Zeus and Apollo. Shame on you, CBS. I think it was CBS, or whoever decided you can't do Magnum P.I. without Tom Selleck and a Detroit Tigers hat. And I really shouldn't be that worked up about that, but here I am.
I was going to say, we touched a nerve there, it feels like, that you really... did you have all of the Hawaiian shirts, Matt? Like, I don't know.
Of course I did.
The fact that I know that maybe says... Yeah, like the fact that I know that he always wore a Hawaiian shirt maybe says a lot about me. But, okay, so Sabrina, when you talked about The Dark Knight and how usually the sequels aren't as good, The Dark Knight really did sort of look at a different side of it. I mean, to the point that Matt was making with Better Call Saul, it was a darker look at the same old story of Batman. Do you think that's where we maybe need to go here as well with TV? Or is it the type of thing where we just sort of shuffle the deck and try and have brand new ideas?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both. Like, there's so much out there already, and it's just about exploring new angles, new stories, maybe some alternate things. And as Matt said, everything can't just be about superheroes. But I do see the value in that. I mean, I love going to a theater and watching things get blown up. So like a big, production value thing that'll never get old for me. But yeah, I mean, trying to be maybe more original and not just recreate something that worked good in the past. I think it's going to be some time before people just end up tuning out. I mean, maybe we'll go outside more.
Oh, no, we can't do that. Yeah. I mean, fall is coming. The weather's getting colder. How about this? We do crossovers. Frasier is now, he's in charge of HR for The Office. And then there's an episode where he gets in trouble because he's sipping Fino Sherry, because that's what one would do at 12:30 in the afternoon on a Wednesday. And we cross over the different shows.
I know Jen,
I
our
like that
producer,
one.
will know this about me. I'm just a reality TV, like, trashy fanatic. So I watch a lot of reality TV. You can't really repeat that. Everything feels fresh. And so that's where I would recommend people go is reality television. Real Housewives, The Bachelor.
Flavor of Love.
Yeah.
You guys are just running through it all, eh? I got to wrap up this segment, but before we go, I was just about to say, what if you found out that Fraggle Rock was actually happening in the walls of Mad About You, and really have that kind of crossover with the doozers and everything else in the trash heap?
Love it.
And I can't believe I am accessing all of this terrible, useless information in my memory right now, Matt. I don't know.
I love it.
know.
Fraggle Rock was a great show. Paul Reiser making some interesting quip about what's about his light jazz going on by these puppets in his walls. I'd watch that.
Yeah, okay. Gobo and Red are really
Oh,
be
wow.
happy that I mentioned them today. Again, another reach. Okay.